Another day, another episode. I am here. I am live. I am ready to go. Thank you for showing up. This is episode 48 on the road, in the waves, on the other side. With me, your host, Paul Carpenter. And today I've got a good one. Oh, I've got like every single one of them. They're all good. But this one I've got is Berkay Kaplan. I'm excited. He has some things he can't talk about, so that's going to be fun to figure out how to get back to him. No, just kidding. We're going to have him on right now. Let me bring him in. This, again, is On the Road, in the Waves, on the other side. Before I start, I would like to say I want to thank my sponsors, Isaac, episode 24, if you want to check that out. He is a supporter of the show. He is supporting at $50 a month. And then I also have another awesome supporter who supported for $250. And I like to mention them every show. Because, that they should be mentioned. That's the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. I am just fixing one little thing really quickly here and going live in 2.3 seconds. But I'm going to bring on Berkay right now. And here he is, my friend. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, definitely. So let's do the whole thing, Berkay. Is it Berkay? Am I saying it correctly?
It's Berkay, but don't worry about the pronunciation. It's a hard name to pronunciate.
I know. You want to get it right. You don't want to.
Yeah,
you don't want to.
It's like happy birthday, but with a K. Like it's like happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. I can do that. Okay, so Berkay, tell us, who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do? Let us know.
Sure. My name is Berkay Kaplan. I was born in Virginia. And then I moved to Turkey, lived there for a decade, spent my middle school, high school there, and then came back to the US for college, did my master's, and working as a software engineer.
Okay, well, thank you for coming to see the show today, folks. That was quick. We're done.
So I can add more details onto that, actually, like most.
You went through the whole thing so quickly. So
I did over summarize it.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. Where did you say you were born?
Virginia, near DC.
In Virginia. So you were born in Virginia, and then you moved where?
Turkey.
So that's where the accent's from. And so you were born in Virginia. You left to live in Turkey at what age?
I went there at 8 years old, and I left there when I was 18 years old.
So you spent 10 years of your life in Turkey, full on. What part of Turkey were you in?
Actually, it's been a mixture. For some time, it's been Istanbul. For some time, it's been Ankara. For some time, it's even been northern Cyprus.
Beautiful. I mean, it's an amazing, beautiful country for those who haven't been and who haven't been around to other countries around the area. It's a phenomenal area within the European area. They call it the Union, I guess. So you lived in Turkey. You were raised in Turkey. Basically, you went to school there from 8 years old to 18. I mean, that's most of your life.
Exactly. Actually, like it's been. I think I've spent around 18 years, something like that, 17 years in the US and 10 years in the Turkey. So that's almost half of my life.
Right. So here's a cool question for you. Do you have two sets of what's the word I'm looking for here? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't believe I can't think of this.
Two sets of dumbbells?
No, two sets of patriotism. So do you feel like you're an American patriot because you love America because you've been here, and then you also feel like you're a Turkish patriot because you have that feeling? And so, which one do you call home?
That's a very interesting question, actually. Like both countries have their ups and downs, like one down we may have in Turkey is that we've had a president for, I think, around like 25 years old. He just got reelected. He's been chancellor for a while, and then he became president. I think he's supposed to go. There's an 8-year term limit in Turkey. I hope that term limit stays in effect. Unlike China had one as well. So we shall see how that goes. And in the US, like there's other kind of political issues. And then the ups are that the living conditions, the living standards are so much better than in Turkey. The salaries are higher. On the other hand, in Turkey, definitely I spent my high school there. I'm more familiar with its history and culture, those kind of things. I would say I'm equally patriotic about both of those countries. I love them both. Both have its ups, both have its downs. Maybe after I'm 65, 62, I might move to Turkey or something like Vietnam, Thailand, because the cost of living there is like so much cheaper. And once I save money, I can even retire early there. So something like that can be possible. But other than that, I'm definitely in the US until I don't know, at least 20, 30, 40 years.
But that didn't really answer my question. I asked really, do you feel more connected to Turkey or more connected to the United States, being that you were raised here for 8 years, right, for your childhood. So there's got to be some kind of connection to the childhood. I don't know if you went to school at all before you left. It must have been first, second grade, kindergarten here in the United States, and then you left. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I believe I left around second grade, third grade, and then I spent in Turkey, and then I did my high school, those kind of things. However, which one?
Did you have any friends by that time before you left? You did.
Oh yeah, I had several friends.
You must have had friends before you left. So did you ever reconnect with any of the friends that you were friends with when you were a kid, like 3 and 4 years old, or 5?
No, unfortunately, it's especially when you move a lot, you just lose contact, and even if you have their Facebook profiles and things, it just feels a little uncomfortable to reach them out on Facebook. You don't know how they'll react, those kind of things. But I have a lot of high school friends, even from high school. I have my college friends, but I kind of wish sometimes that I lived in the same neighborhood for 10 or 20 or my entire life, because I know some Americans live in the same place for decades, and they just literally know the entire town. And sometimes grew.
But then there's also people like that, Berkay, that won't leave their town. So I met a kid in, I think it was Iowa, and he'd never seen the ocean.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 30-something years old. He's like, I've never seen the ocean. I'm like, dude, it's 6 hours that direction. Start driving. What are you doing? And his entire life, he had never seen the ocean.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting case. At least someone should get out of the state. It's fine if you don't have, it's still not fine, but even if you don't have abroad experience, you should definitely have some out of state experience. US is a huge place. The culture in the Midwest Iowa is not the same as the one in California.
No, not at all. But I know lots of people as well, that are born in Manhattan and have never left Manhattan. I met a girl who was 28 years old, had never left Manhattan, had always been on the island.
Jesus Christ. Manhattan is, wait, just Manhattan, not even Brooklyn, not even New Jersey?
Not even Brooklyn, not even New Jersey. She had never left the island. She's been born and raised and lived on the island her entire life.
Holy cow. I was going to say New York is a huge place and technically you can sustain your life on it, but Manhattan, just restricting yourself to Manhattan can be a little bit extreme. And maybe buy that girl a subway ticket so that she can just at least go to Brooklyn and break that.
West Side money girl, very cultured life, very, very stuck in a lot of money and just living that life and going to school, private schools in Manhattan and private colleges and private, everything private.
Yeah, I've never heard someone who did not leave
Yeah,
Manhattan, but
yeah. It was very weird when I heard it. I was like, hey, "You're 28. You've never left." She's like, "I don't need to. I'm in Manhattan. Everything comes to me." I'm like,
she's kind of right though, because everything is definitely like all the events are on the New York side. The New Jersey side doesn't have something, but like stuff happens also in Brooklyn and Queens as well.
"Oh no, for sure." And there's some great parties that happen in Queens and in Brooklyn. Even I mean, Harlem is still technically Manhattan, but also in Harlem, there's some beautiful parties that happen. There's just, I mean, listen, Manhattan in general is a great place to live if you have the money. If you have the money. But did you know the average going rate of rent right now in Brooklyn is the average is $3,500.
Jesus Christ, is this for a 2 bedroom or something?
It's for a one bedroom is sorry, that's $3,500 in Manhattan for a one bedroom, two bedrooms in Brooklyn, 3,500.
Holy cow! Yeah, that is way too much
No, the
because I
rents
used to.
the rents have gone through the roof in New York. I mean, absolutely scary, scary, scary.
I used to live in Midwest for a while in Urbana-Champaign, and I was on the Urbana side. That's a little bit cheaper compared to the Champaign side. My rent there, including utilities, was less than $300.
Yeah, but I mean, also like but I mean, come on, like
It was a one bed, like it was. I just like rented a room there. However, at the end of the day, I just had two roommates. It's not like I had 5 or 6 roommates. Some people like do that and can reduce their rents to that point, but I did that with only two roommates, and like imagine having to do that in Brooklyn. I think in New York though, there's lots of advertisements about shared rooms, not even like private rooms anymore, shared rooms, and those are still like $800, $700. Thank God I never had
it's
to share my
crazy.
room, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
imagine doing
crazy.
that after college.
It's really crazy right now what's going on in the world. The way people are just surviving, and then on top of that, there's a lot of the people who are being forced into cities like New York, and those people. I don't know if you've heard. At first, they were saying we're going to give you a place to live, and then there were so many of them that now they're saying you can only stay here for 2 months if you're a family, and only 30 days if you're single. So they're waiting in line for weeks and weeks, sleeping outside in the streets to get a hotel room that they can only keep for 30 days. And if they have a family, they can only keep it for 60 days. So it's like,
Holy cow.
well, why even stay in line? There's no reason for it. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's crazy right now, man. It's crazy. You know?
I know like 5 years ago, I came to New York for a conference at the
Mm-hmm.
Columbia University, which is on Manhattan. But it's kind of like on the cheaper side of Manhattan. It's not like Midtown or the financial district. I think the Upper West block, like Hell's Kitchen, Upper West block, or Heights, are a little cheaper compared to the rest of Manhattan, as far as I heard. I'm not
Sure.
sure how true it is though. And I had like a $200 budget from my school, and I chose, of course, like an hotel in Manhattan. I was like, I have $200 for only one night. Of course, I'm gonna live in luxury. And then I chose this hotel, which, by the way, it was hostel, and I thought it was hotel. I was not 100% sure what that meant. That was the first time I ever like heard the word hostel.
Hostel. Sure.
So I
Sure.
rented, and then I go to it, and then I wait on the lobby. I see rats running around, and I'm like, holy cow. And they give me my room card. Thankfully, I was alone there, like after seeing the rats, also like realizing I'm going to have to share the room with someone. I would
Right.
have, like, it wouldn't have been a very good night for me, but thankfully I had the room for myself that night. But I was a little bit shocked. I was
Oh,
like,
you were
Jesus
lucky.
Christ, is
You were
this what
lucky.
$200 a night gets you in Manhattan? And thankfully
Well,
next.
oh, that's not true because I've stayed at some really beautiful hotels in Times Square for 85, $90 a night plus they call it like, fees, little resort fees or whatever. And so usually about $120, $130 you can get a really nice hotel in Manhattan. Also, depending on the season, depending on what's going on, and if not, you can find an Airbnb. But for the most part, you're right. It is very expensive. Period in Manhattan. You know. So okay, so let's get back to your story. You you stayed. You were there till you were 18, 19, right? You said,
Yes.
and then you came back to the United States.
Yes, that's correct.
And then you came and you went to college. You went to university. Where did you go?
So at the time, I took the university entrance exam in Turkey. US was not in my plan at all. I was just going to study law in Turkey and get a prestigious government job. And then things happened. I get a scholarship to the US, and then I come to the US and I study for the ACT exams, AP exams. I already have a US citizen, so I thought, why not also stay here? And the people who gave me that scholarship did not have any problems with it as well. So I kind of stayed in Texas for a while and took the exams, got into Ohio State University, and then by the time I realized what happened, I lived in Columbus for 4 years.
So you said you had citizenship. How did you receive citizenship?
I was born in the U.S. in
Oh,
Virginia.
that's right. That's right. So you had dual citizenship from birth, basically.
Yeah, that's the biggest gift probably a Turkish parent can give to their children, a U.S. citizen. Not just
Oh yeah.
Turkish parents, but probably like any Eastern country
Any
parent.
yeah, 100%. It really is. Uh, People, I don't think people recognize how much um, you can really do here if you truly choose to do here. Um, and you can do it in a manner of speed, unlike almost anywhere else in the world. Almost anywhere else in the world. I mean, look at Uber. I mean, the gentleman who created Uber did it in 6 months, and he had less than what I think $600 in his pocket when he first got here. And in 6 months, he became a multi billionaire.
Yeah, lots of those Fortune 500 countries companies have very inspiring stories, like not just Uber, but also UPS or even Subway. Lots of their founders got debt and built
FedEx is
their
a
companies
great
built on a
story.
loan.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What'd you say there?
Oh, I was saying lots of those Fortune 500 companies like UPS or Subway were actually built by the founders getting loans from their friends or families.
Yeah,
They are
FedEx.
very
Another story I was saying. If you've never heard the story of FedEx and how it started and why he was doing it, do you know the story behind FedEx?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think the main idea is probably the same. They probably were struggling at first, and then they even probably
Oh,
got debts and stuff like that. But their struggle might be even more worse than what I heard about other companies.
well, I mean, at one point, yeah, at the beginning, he was trying to basically beat out USPS. It was very simple. It was a very simple process. It was a process where he believed he could get things to be delivered within, I think, a 3 day turnaround or something to that effect at the time, which was unheard of at the time. And he believed that he could, if he could get his stuff on cargo planes, that he would be able to do better. And then he was able to somehow or another broker a deal, and then he started to buy his own planes, and then that was the end of it. And yeah, that's a very cool story though. The story's but another one's Tencent, which is the company from China that is the everything app. The Weibo, or we is it Weibo?
WeChat?
WeChat, right? So they own WeChat, and their story is really intense. The Nintendo story. Do you know the story of Nintendo and how it started?
No, I'd be interested in hearing it.
That's a really good one. So Nintendo started from So there was a Japanese man who made cards, like playing cards. But back in the day in Japan, it was illegal to gamble and it was illegal to make cards. So he made a certain type of flowery version of cards where they didn't have the natural characters that you would normally see, and instead he would have flowers and he would have this, that, and the other on them. And the Yakuza in Japan used him specifically for his cards, and they would use a new deck every time they did a new game, and so he became super wealthy very quickly.
Oh wow.
And it was a card company game at the beginning. They literally made playing cards. Yeah,
Have you
and
heard about the?
there. The story from there is absolutely insane because the guy wanted to keep his lineage, but he never had kids, and then he got his. I mean, it just an insane story of who owned, and then I think the youngest 4 generations later, a 23-year-old ends up taking over the company, all because they didn't want to give up the name, just a crazy story, man. You
Oh
gotta
wow.
watch it. Yeah, it's a YouTube video on the history of Nintendo, like really good.
Sometimes rivalry can also cause like legendary companies to emerge as well. Like, have you ever heard how Lamborghini came out?
No, tell me the story.
The rumor is that the owner of the Lamborghini, I believe, was manufacturing tractors. I might be a little bit off from the story, but I
He
believe he
was.
was
It was cool
manufacturing
too.
tractors.
Yep, they
And
made
then
Lamborghini
he
truck.
basically owned a Ferrari and he didn't like certain aspects of it. So he goes to the owner of the Lamborghini and gives him recommendations. And then the owner of Ferrari and gives him recommendations. And the owner says, "You just manufacture like tractors. Like, how do you know anything about?"
About.
So he kind of like scolds him there. And guess what happens next? Lamborghini starts his own sports car line.
Wow.
Can you
I'm going
imagine, like,
to go watch
if
a
you just
documentary on that now. That sounds so good. Bro,
stayed silent, you will have one less arch enemy in the world.
right? Right? That's the same thing as like, do you know the story behind Tesla and Edison?
Yeah, I think they were rivals, and Edison, like the common consensus seems to be Edison wronged Tesla by promising him stuff that he did not uphold on his end.
Yeah, a couple different times actually. So Tesla comes over, Armenian, I believe. I could be wrong, but he shows up and he has like 2 books full of ideas. And he goes to Edison and he says, "I want to work for you." And Edison says, "Okay, well, if you can create this thing, I've been trying to work on it for a while. I'll give you $50,000, which at the time, a lot of money." And so Tesla goes to work and he works like a beast for months and comes back and says, "Yo, I'm done. Here you go," and gives him the prototype finished and working. And Edison takes it from him and says that he made it. And then Tesla's like, "Where's my money?" And he says, "Oh, that's just an American joke. Something we just say here in America. I didn't really mean it." Uh, and then the I believe he then obviously doesn't want to work for Edison anymore, but he doesn't have anywhere to live. He doesn't have any money, so he's digging ditches. He's literally digging ditches. And Westinghouse is with his wife in the street. At least this is the story. And they see him, and they're like, "What are you doing digging ditches, bro?" And he's like, "Well, I don't got any money, man. What do you want from me, bro? I'm in the street, you know?" And he's like, "No, you're not." And so he pulls him up and he gives him money and he gives him a way to compete. At this point, there's a competition that is created by, I believe it was Westinghouse. I could be wrong here on who could tame the Niagara Falls and who could create electricity from Niagara Falls. Now, Edison at the time was all about DC current and saying that it was all about it's the only way to work. DC is the only way to go. And he would go to World's Fairs and he would electrocute sheep and elephants. That was the largest thing he ever did was an elephant, and he would kill them and say and put fear mongering into the audience of look at how dangerous this AC current is and how you could die if you use it.
Jesus Christ, was that even legal at the time? Like
Yeah.
now you'd probably be charged with animal cruelty.
And there was no such thing as animal cruelty. We're talking, so yeah, man, it's a crazy story. The battle between the two of them was absolutely insane. And the thing that's really sad is that Edison really never created anything his entire life. He had, I think at one point up to 100 guys that worked for him that were all major scientists of their time that were basically the guys where he would go, okay, I want this made. And they'd be like, well, and he'd be like, go figure it out. That's what I'm paying you for. And then when they were done, he would just take it and put his name on it,
Yeah, I think he also but perfected certain things as well. Like, of course, he wasn't the one who created the light bulb, but he was the one that enabled, I believe, if I'm not wrong, it to keep lit for like a long amount of time. Before that, after a while, it would the light bulb would just like die. But that's also a very common thing in academia as well. Lots of professors like can end up just perfecting certain things. People's mind kind of work in a different matter. Some are good at creating new research directions.
I would like to help you. Edison was a total piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely. That's unrefuted. Based on the stories I heard, he doesn't seem to be a pleasant person.
He was racist. He was anti-Semitic. He was full on. But more so than that, he wasn't. I feel he was more of a guy that was call him kind of a jack of all trades, but a master of absolute shit. But within that, he also had money. So he was able to parlay his knowledge of a lot of stuff and money into making a name for himself, which is what happened in the end. But I don't think Edison was a real smart guy in that respect. I think he was a very smart businessman. Like he really understood the law and understood patents and understood, and this is before anybody else would create the idea of understanding laws and patents. I mean, look, he's the guy who created the camera, and he was stopping Jewish people from making movies, which is why Jews ran away from the East Coast and went to the West Coast to create Hollywood.
Created Hollywood, to also like stay away from their patents as well. I think they were also like using Edison's patents, like he patented a lot of stuff.
The camera, he patented the camera. They had so this is a story. If you haven't seen this is a great documentary as well. Also another good book, but it's called Hollywoodism, and it's how the Jews created Hollywood and why. And so Jewish people. I think it was the owner of Warner Brothers. I could be wrong here, but him and his wife were in New York. This is 20 years before anything happens in California, I believe, or at least 10 years before, and they were at a movie theater. And before even walking in, she says, "What a great business idea." And he says, "What's that?" And she says, "Movies." And he goes, "Why is that?" And she goes, "Because you pay before you get the product." He's like, "Yeah, you're right." And she goes, "Also, if people don't like it, they don't ask for their money back because they feel like they got something." He's like, "Yeah, you're right." And so a bunch of Jewish people came together and put all of their monies together. We're talking families and families. And they started to buy movie houses. But the only movies that were coming out were movies that Edison was putting out. And most of those movies were super racist.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was particularly racist against the Jewish population, though.
Oh, he was very anti-Semitic. Yeah, it's very well known. If you just Google, was Edison anti-Semitic? Yeah, so was Ford, and they were good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard about like his friendship with Ford, but Ford also had, I heard like a good workplace environment as well, that he actually valued his
Well,
employees.
I
But I'm not
think,
sure if his like racist tendencies, was he racist or something?
oh,
I'm
he
not
was
sure.
definitely anti-Semitic, super anti-Semitic, very well known for being anti-Semitic. But that's not. That's like okay. So I can understand in one respect the mentality of what he was trying to create, which comes from the Prussian ideology, which is where we get our schooling from here in the United States. I don't know if you know all this.
The Prussian ideology?
Yeah, so
I heard about Montessori system for kindergartners. That's the first system they start, and that kind of fosters the child's independence.
right, a non-independence actually, right? So what they wanted to do, so Prussia loses a war, and at one point or another, they start to get very deep in trying to find out how to create the perfect what's the word I'm looking for? Give me a second. Give me 1 second.
Perfect model for education.
I had to yell at my dogs for a second, but they're not stopping. So I
Uh,
tried. Um, um, the perfect citizen. And so they started to do all these different studies, and they find that if you force a child into a certain kind of forced teaching, then you can force what you want onto the child. And then they also created different classes and time schedules and all of the things that we quote unquote know as what we know as a normal day of school, like what we would think is right and normal, was a forced doctrine. But the same Prussian ideology is then what the SS take on. And the crazy part of this is that the person who put the most money into this in the United States was Rockefeller. And the reason that he did it was because he wanted cheaper employees, and
Jesus
it
Christ.
was, and so they went out of their way to spend tons of money to send college professors from the United States to Germany to learn the ideology and then come back and then start teaching it here in the United States in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and then what we have now is the idea of creating socialism for the destruction of the American way, if you will, from the inside, which is also a beautiful ideology that's been pushed out, but nobody remembers and thinks about.
Yeah, I did not actually know about that. The most I knew about education was Montessori system, especially for kindergartners.
Yeah,
But like the
I can actually.
Prussian perfect citizen, I've never actually, I think I might have heard it somewhere, but I never went into detail about it.
I'm gonna look it up because I made a whole post on it and everything about it because it freaked me out when I saw it. I was like, "Whoa! How long has like the SS and Germany been involved in the United States? Not alone that with the fact that if you want to, if you go really far back, just if you want to get crazy, right? And it's not far, but if you just go from like the 1890s, 1910s, we had something in the United States called the American Eugenics Society, and this is prior to World War I, middle of World War I. We're doing some really crazy stuff here in the United States.
I'm
Like there
actually
was
very curious, like, what about like Turkey? What kind of education model we had there? Because I think, as far as I heard from my international friend, it is close to like the Chinese and the Eastern like education system where everything is determined by one exam. And we did
mm,
not have anything else than an exam. Like in college application, at my time, we had common application that you also
right,
put your extracurriculars that would be taken into account, your recommendation, like recommendation letters especially was unheard of, at least in my like high school time. Like, who would need a recommendation letter for college? It was only one thing, and that was the exam itself, and 2 million people would get ranked, and you'd know your ranking as well. And based on that, you'd either get into a good college, or you'd still get into a good college if you have money. You can get into a college without a
Or
scholarship.
you
It even determines your scholarship amount. So that's the education system we have, which like
not
isn't
far.
necessarily bad. I ended up having, I think, like could do like good calculations on my head. People got impressed when I was doing math calculations, multiplying double digits with double digits in my head. But like the problem is I don't. I think honestly I
Mhm.
prefer like to have a sports background as well. Like I sometimes wish in high school I did sports like climbing, or did it in more like a deeper level, or had additional extracurricular things. Like I think improv theater would be an excellent booster to anyone's social skills or anyone's self-confidence, self-esteem. Imagine like being the president of that club and talking to established peoples all the time, getting their ideas. Like your perspective could have been much more enhanced. But at the end of the day, like in Turkey, we still had clubs and those kind of things, but they never mattered. It was all towards the exam. We still
Here we go.
sat down for
I,
8 hours.
have it. Sorry, I just found it here. If you'd like to see it, I don't know if I can actually share it. Can I try to share it? Can I share it?
Sure.
No.
I don't know if screen sharing will be
I don't know.
possible
I'm
on here.
seeing if
I'd
I
be
can do
interested
it.
in seeing it.
I'm seeing if it'll allow. Oh, here it will allow me. Here we go. So I can share my screen. Share my screen. Oh, look at that! This is so great. Um. So here, yeah. I don't know if you're seeing my screen right now. What are you seeing? Oh,
Yeah, I
you
am
are.
seeing it.
Oh, this is so great. So if you look here, and let's try and take this and go full. Yeah, it's right here. Unraveling the connection between the Prussian education and Nazi American ideologies highlights educational alignment, rooted in the visionary concept of Johann Gottlieb Fichte, John Rockefeller, and Horace Mann. Yeah, really intense. I don't know if you're reading it.
I'm able to see it. I can see it,
Oh,
but
okay. Well, I mean, like it's on my profile. It's something that I wrote. I use ChatGPT basically. But
oh,
no, I mean, what I did was I came together with some ideas in my head, and then I went to ChatGPT and asked it to basically correlate those ideas and see if I'm right or wrong, and I was
yeah,
right.
it's definitely a helpful tool also. Sometimes, like when I write programs as well, I ask it to determine vulnerabilities in my program. Sometimes I have security issues, and ChatGPT is great at catching it and also making recommendations about it and even providing the solutions on it.
Yeah,
So it is
no,
helping me a lot with my extra projects.
it's really cool even for like writing code. Like if you're trying to write, in JSON or in almost any kind of coding language, it's really quite amazing what you can do, and how it can also catch bugs in your code, like you were saying. And now with ChatGPT 4, there's also apps that they have that you can use that are specific for a certain thing. For instance, they have one in particular that is for coding.
You can
So
even create them without any coding background.
yeah, I know it's great.
Yeah, Sam Altman, I think, released that a week ago or something. He went on a conference about it.
One more time.
Oh, Sam Altman, the what do you call the
Yeah.
CEO, I
The
believe.
CEO of yeah. He just put a 2 days ago, 2 or 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I watched it. It's really quite amazing. That's what I was telling you. They're doing what's now called, or they're about to allow, for everybody, what's called AI swarms or bots, basically. But instead of having to create your own API key and have it run on your own computer, they're allowing you to do it through their you know server system, which is great.
Exactly. And those are tremendously helpful as well because I remember like when I was doing certain projects, especially when I was programming sensors or microcontrollers, some of the tools that we use, like Seger, did not have any documentation online, like except the official documentation. And in the software engineering community, it is well known that official documentation often kind of is hard to read. Like it's like
Very
painful to read.
100%.
And then you have all these like hidden posts. Like when you Google like Sega documentation, you still get documentation, but it's like very disorganized. It's very hard to find what exactly you're looking for. But now that ChatGPT is like knowing it all, it's so easy to now tap into those tools and widen your programming skills. Like it helps a lot.
So let's talk about that because I'm really big. I don't know how many episodes you've seen, um, and how deep you've gone into my rabbit hole. But I'm very big in, and I have a lot of friends of mine. I should actually introduce you to two of them. John is one of them. And, well, they're both named John, actually. It's John and John, and they. I want you to look this up. I don't know if you're in front of a computer, but if you can, look up something that's called the Mequavis. MEQAQUAVIS.
MEQ?
MEQUAVIS. The Mequavis. Now the idea, and I'm gonna like stumble.
Is it nano cheese?
Yes, nano cheese Mequavis. Yeah, dude, you're gonna love it, dude.
Quantum Fire with AI VR Quantum Firewall.
There you go, dude. Yeah, dude, it's so cool, dude.
The subdimensional cyberspace time hyperstack.
Yeah, dude, isn't that great? So he's gone as far as like creating, because he's probably about 6 months ahead of the game. Not much, but what they did was they took all of the LLM models that they could to the best of their abilities at the time. And then they created bots within bots within bots within bots that were so they had one bot that was considered like the God bot. And then they had other bots that would then create things for the God bot. And then those create their own universe. And then within those universes, they had to have their own like managing bots. So it's like this top-down approach of like an everything God bot, and then all of the, disseminating energies, quote unquote, that you would need to have a universe within universes of universes, because you also then have to start to have like, yeah, it's crazy. And then on top of that, there's a live feed of the Mequavis nano cheese on YouTube that you can interact with while she's telling the story of how she's creating herself.
Yeah, I'm right now playing around with it. Apparently, I'm around the pyramids. I can move around. Yeah, I think it's kind of unfinished, but it does seem really promising.
Listen, these guys don't have there's just two guys by themselves, like fucking in the fucking dungeon that they've created, and this is all they do. I need to introduce you to the two of them. They are both geniuses. One of them is a biological engineer, biochemist, engineer, something with the genetic. He wrote some kind of paper that took off, and like hundreds of papers have been written since. I mean, no, I'm talking. I know lots of cool genius people, bro. It's great. I don't even know where I meet these people because I'm a weirdo and a stupid. So.
Seems fine.
So thanks.
But that's definitely a cool project, and like it kind of reminds me of, they recently announced GTA 6. I don't know if you're in the gaming community, but one thing that I'm really expecting to see is that they incorporate LLMs into the non-personal characters there, like because like at least in GTA, how you like interact with people is very like not casual, but what do you say, deterministic. Like you do something and the response is 100% for sure you're going to get that response, or you're going to get something else, but it's always a defined set of responses. Now with AI, like people will have, the NPCs will have emotions, they can interact with you in different ways. I'm just looking forward when they interact, when they like integrate certain things like models like Binge or Bard, Google Bard or ChatGPT into the gaming community, because the product I think is going to be amazing.
Yeah, this right here, I don't know if you've seen this. This blew me.
Oh, Unreal Engine 5? They made a Superman game on that as well. That is very promising.
在这附近了。
Look at how beautiful this is.
I cannot differentiate it from reality, honestly. Like, this is, I'm not even sure if this is a game or reality itself.
Well, you can't, dude. Have you seen the new no, it really is, and that's the beauty of it. It's like you've seen the new one, right? The one in which the guy is shooting characters. It's like a brand new, man. It is intense. Let me tell you something, sir. New realistic shooting game. Man, it is absolutely insane. Yeah, it's called Body Cam. This is it right here. And then they made a new game called Unrecord. But this game right here came out about 3 months ago. And when it did, people were like, that's not real. Like, there's no way that what you're showing
freedom
is real.
means absolute efficiency.
And it absolutely is real.
Did you hear like
he even
Unreal's...
goes and shows behind the scenes footage.
Did you hear about Unreal's like latest controversy?
Watch this. Check this out.
Yeah, I am seeing it.
Watch this.
It's kind of freezing though. I'm kind of having trouble seeing it.
Look at these. Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, it also doesn't. It's very. It looks. I mean, obviously.
I can see how realistic it is. It's just the frame rate is very low.
But I mean, look at the reality. Just insane, dude. Absolutely insane. What they're doing.
Yeah, that just seems like one of the paintball matches that I see online. Honestly, like, it's so realistic, just like you said.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's to the point where it's so real and so. I mean, so let's get into it. How much longer? What is your belief for artificial general intelligence, not super? And when do you think it's coming out?
Well, I believe the artificial general intelligence, I just read its definition once or twice. And I'm definitely not an expert on the subject, but as far as I know, confirm or reject my belief. It's like a artificial person that has emotions that can basically mimic the entire tasks of human or even do better than that, right? Basically.
Yeah, that's AGI.
And like
and I'm going to read it from Google just to be fair with you and me as well. Artificial general intelligence is a hypothetical form of artificial intelligence that can learn and think like a human. And if you wanted to get a little bit more technical, you could say that until it can truly understand itself and its surroundings and interact with those surroundings, i.e. pick up objects, know what they are, cook, clean, do all these things, that's when it's artificial general intelligence. Until that point, we're just until that point, it's really just a head in a box.
Yeah, and I think it's a whole like subset of skill set that the model has to have in order to be considered as AGI. But I think right now, as far as I see from ChatGPT and Google Bard and certain models, we have achieved one or two of those skill sets, right? Like, honestly, like, I'm not sure how ChatGPT thinks. I believe they're using a paper called Attention. All you need is attention. That's like a very, and then they're using the transformation architecture. I'm not super like knowledgeable about the underlying structure.
But that's not the newer model that just
came out. But it definitely outputs better than humans, though, right? Like, when you ask a question, although sometimes it hallucinates like 10% of the time, maybe like or 20%, or it's like kind of differs based on the personal experience. It does still like output and like gives you an amazing answer, as far as I know. And with summarization, especially, it does an even better job. Like, from my experience, I've had a very good time when I was putting things in there to get a summary of them so that I don't have to read long texts and those kind of things. And it even like turns the text in more readable format and makes it easier on the eye. So I think we may have achieved one or two. It's really, the definition is ambiguous. I don't know how many skill sets we need, maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 100. But it seems like we have dig our claws in there, and we can slowly make progress in there too. So I think it's close. It's definitely close.
You think in the next 5 years? Do you think before 2030?
Maybe a decade or something, a decade or 2 decades, I'm guessing, right? Because like there's going to be a lot of upcoming tasks. Like for instance, Neuralink is going through a breakthrough. It's not very relevant to AI, but it is relevant to a certain like particular area that can contribute to AI, right? Like the human brain interface. When you put things into the brain, you can now get output from it. Apparently, I heard like Neuralink was looking for participants just recently to just have a robot dig a hole in their skull and then put their chip in it to get output. And if you can get output from the brain, I feel like, I'm not super knowledgeable about the field, but I feel you can also put input into the brain as well. So imagine like I paid like 4 years worth of tuition to get that software engineering knowledge, and then I spent countless hours of misery, and then someone can just press a button and then have all those information loaded in there. And as a software engineer, my competitive advantage is completely destroyed, right? So there's like a lot of areas like that. There's also like another breakthrough in humanoid robots. I don't know if you heard about that area, but right now, honestly, it's not too expensive to purchase a humanoid robot. And with the integration of LLMs into them, you can like literally make them more act like more humans, and that also pushes us one step closer to AGI as well. So there's like breakthroughs in every area, in biological matter, in human brain interface. So I think like we're getting close there, maybe a decade or 2 decades. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved, like FDA has to approve certain things, and these are like notoriously known to take long, but we're making progress. Maybe 5 years as well, I'm not sure. Sometimes like you never know about secret projects.
I honestly think that they already have AGI. They're holding it back. However they're doing it, whatever they're doing to hold it back, to not put it into the public yet. But it's definitely, I there's too many people who are really big in the artificial intelligence world that have said that the models that they're looking at now are definitely thinking for themselves in some manner. Granted, it may not be conscious, full on, whatever, but they're definitely doing something that we're not aware of, or that, like you were saying, there's these, sometimes, I don't know if you mentioned it, but there are these artifacts that happen that they mention in a lot of the studies. Have you ever watched 2 Minute Papers?
No, I definitely heard about it though.
Please.
Oh wait, is that the YouTube channel that it goes over the paper in 2 minutes?
Man, Berkay, let me tell you, bro. Dr. Karajoni Fair is a G. He is a G. Not only do they just go through the papers, but they give you all the links to, to Reddit and to all of the back end, to Hugging Face, so if you really want to learn about it, if you want to learn about the modal system or whatever they're working on, you can really dig in, and that's just cool in and of itself. And then he has a website called Weights and Biases, which is for you to run your own studies and do your own little things. It's very cool.
Yeah, I used to read a lot of those papers as well, but a big issue about those papers is a lot of them are not scalable or applicable to real like world scenario. I'm sure there's like very promising papers in the field, but I do know certain people that I know, like one guy whose father trusted a paper from MIT and literally started his own company around it, and guess what? It just turns out it's not scalable,
right, because he saw it at what it was, but then when you look at the actual infrastructure that you need to actually make it work.
Exactly. So the lesson here learned is like never start a company based on only one paper, like at least have some additional support on the area, like see if
I would,
anyone tried it.
I would hope the guy would have started a business with more than just one paper in his hand and a business proposal that he got created. Hey, I got an idea. Let's go. Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah,
But
I heard
obviously,
he had a good network, like, of people around him, right? So if he got like a product out of it, he could definitely have sold it or even sold the company itself. But yeah, like one paper only for your technical infrastructure is definitely not enough.
no, not at all. Okay, so let's go deep further. Because I mentioned this earlier. Remember, I was talking about the early 1800s. We had what was the Eugenics Society. I didn't tell you the whole thing, but if you follow the information, we take all of the stuff that we did in the 1920s, from 1890 to about 1920s, and send all that information to Germany. Now, yeah, dude. And then at the end of World War II, there was something called Operation Paperclip, which is true. This is all real. This isn't like
Sounds like a goofy name though, Operation Paperclip.
right. And what we did at that point was we bring all of the SS scientists and major players. One of them being the man who created NASA, which is Warner von Braun, who was a huge SS conspirator. And so we bring all of this information back to the United States. And if you follow the information of what the Germans were doing at the time, they were doing some really trippy stuff, right? They're looking for the Ark of the Covenant. They're trying to create UFOs. They were also doing weird studies on human beings, ripping off legs, putting them on backwards.
Jesus.
Just really twisted stuff. And then they take all of that information and all of that knowledge and then bring it to the United States, and then they start MK Ultra within years of it. So it's never stopped. I think it's been a global game the entire time. There have been people at the oligarchical table, if you will, that have been sitting across from each other for very long periods of time. And as we have become more technologically bound, the table has become smaller and smaller. And they're no longer as far apart from each other as they used to be. Yet they're still having meetings like the Bilderberg Group once a year, where they, in my opinion, pass people around like baseball cards and businesses around like baseball cards. Like, for instance, I've got a Kevin Hart and you've got The Rock. All right, look, I'll give you one Kevin Hart and one. No, I'm not kidding, bro. You think I'm joking?
No, I believe
Kevin
you.
Hart for the next year. You can use him in no more than 5 films, and 2 of those have to be with The Rock. And the other guy goes, well, look, I have a 5-point deal here with The Rock. Let me do 1 film with this guy and 3 more, and they make a deal. And from that, there's 3 other guys in the room that are like, okay, and I'll take the deal with the beer company, and I'll do and then all of the other small, call it, things that connect to it. All of the marketing and all the BS that connect to it. Have you seen, talking about crazy, have you seen the video okay, so there's a company that works for Mr. Beast. I'm going to look
Mr.
this
Beast,
up.
you said?
Yeah. And they are the ones that we made Mr. Beast. What was the name of the TV show that he recreated?
Squid Game.
Squid Games. And
that was really fun though.
So good. So this company is making, it's called So Crispy Media. Let me share this with you. I'll share it with the screen. It's really cool. I'm happy that I learned how to do the share screen thing, because I've been wanting to share stuff for a minute, and the fact that I learned how to do it on this episode is super fun. So
that's also such a big competitive advantage, honestly. I have attended like a couple podcasts, and I've never seen them doing screen share as well. So definitely make use of that.
Ready to be an e-commerce pioneer?
Yeah, man.
We'll host our
Yeah, for sure. We got to have fun with the podcast and make it interesting for everybody who's watching. Okay, so this guy right here, what they did was, and it's absolutely amazing. Let me come back to you real quick, but it really is quite amazing. These guys did the same amount of CGI that was in The Matrix in the first film, which is over 300 and something odd shots of CGI in 2 weeks.
Jesus. I heard they use actually Unreal Engine or one of those like Unity or Unreal Engine.
They 100% use Unreal Engine, yeah, and they're using the system they're using is the. I'll show that to you as well in a second.
Yeah, I think I watched that video. Is that the 15-minute video where they talk about how they made those?
This in particular is the one that this is the video where this company, So Crispy, this kid, he's saying, "Oh look, this is how we made the back end of the Mr. Beast video," and what they did was, like, for instance, like he's like, here, we're on stage, and we wanted it to look like it was really happening, and so they were able to get real-time camera to be able to pick up what they were wanting to do. Then they also, because they wanted to know the shots prior to doing the shots, they made an entire video game. So not only did they shoot 300 and something odd pieces, they also put it into Unreal, and were sorry, not Unreal, but into man, I can't think right now. What's the name of the program where you make video games?
Unreal Engine, Unity.
Unity. They threw everything into Unity, and it immediately, all the files transferred over for them. But yeah, so they were shooting stuff like here, like it looks like this in real life, but on camera and on video, they were able to make it look like let's see, what is it? Like this. So this scene here, they were able to cut that and splice it and then turn it into this. So Jesus. Every shot, yeah, dude. I mean, it's some amazing stuff. They did awesome visual shots. Let me see if I can find the one where he talks about. Yeah, this one right here. Look at this, dude. So they had a green screen, nothing more than a green screen, blue screen, shooting from the floor up, right? And with that, they created this scene right here with just this shot. He ends up creating this sequence, puts that in, and makes it look like he's all the way on the floor looking up at the people who are in the competition, and this is the end sequence result.
Dude, that's amazing. The lighting especially. Did you realize how the lighting changed?
And this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what they're doing now with AI editing in scene. Let me see if I can find this one for you. So this is a brand new thing that's coming out in the next little bit of time, where they're able to actually take the video from one scene and then use it in another scene. So what they're doing here, let me just stop sharing and come back to you for a second. What they're doing is basically this. They are taking the file of information that comes in off the camera, feeding it to an AI. The AI then reads everything that's in the scene and then takes the main character of the scene and makes that the biggest format of file. So then let's say you and I are in a scene 2 days later, which is the what they show in this sequence. And you and I are acting, and then all of a sudden I just go, and the director's like, I don't like the way he did that. But I love the way he spoke. I'm not ready for that right now. 2 days ago, but we were indoors and we had different lighting. Doesn't matter. The AI will cut out the acting of just the face and then superimpose the face onto the actor in that scene with that lighting. So that scene where you saw me going, I don't know. All of a sudden it's like, and I'm just not ready for that. And look, have you seen the new type of editing where it's text-based editing?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of advertisements about those, like text-based video editing, text-based photo editing. There's even a video generation from scratch from text, basically. Google had a tool for that, and I think they published it. They didn't publish the tool itself. They published like a description of the work, and they said, like, we're not ready yet. We're still building the guardrails, which is definitely a great idea. I can imagine what people are going to generate from there. So
yeah, it's called Google Imagen. Like Imagine, but Imagen. It's actually quite amazing. But there's some other programs that are out there already, like Leonardo AI. It's phenomenal website.
Leonardo AI.
Yeah, you do a ton of stuff where you can text to video, text to audio, and then 11 Labs. I don't know if you've used them yet. 11
I have not, but I'm taking note of those too.
Yeah, no problem, man.
11
Labs is another phenomenal website, and I recently worked with a company that does political work here in the United States, and we recreated a senator's voice from recordings that we had from him, right? That obviously we work with the guy. It's not like we're just, So we had recordings that he had done in the past. He didn't have time to go to studio. I said to my friend, I can recreate his voice as long as you give me 1 to 3 minutes. And he's like, you're kidding me. And I was like, not at all. And he's like, no way. So he gives me 6 30-second clips. I upload 4 of them. He gives me a script, and I sent it back to him in less than an hour. And it sounded as good as the recording that the senator had to go to a studio to do.
Holy cow.
He was like, bro, you just saved me $3,000. And I was like, no way. And he's like, fuck yeah, you did, bro. He's like, I would have had to pay for a studio room. I would have had to pay for the guy to go there. Plus, I would have had to pay for the producer. Then I have to pay for he's like, you saved me more than $3,000, really, if you think about it. I was like,
did you see the short videos about like where they copy the voices of like the presidents like Obama, Trump, Joe Biden, and make it look like they're playing video games together and basically like talking or they go shit to each other? Like that was the funniest thing I've ever seen for a while.
The other one I like is the ones that they've been doing where they make, what's this famous director? And oh man, I'll show it to you. It's so good. This is really cool. So I forgot the name of this director, but he is. Let me see if I can do it. It's AI movie trailer Star Wars. Here it is. So this is the company. It's called Curious Refuge. So if you want to know a little bit about the company. They came out. They made videos on YouTube years ago. They never really got very popular, and then just recently they put out one of these videos, which was this right here, like a Star Wars. But they did. What's the name? Oh, here it is. Wes Anderson. So they did this thing where it was a Wes Anderson clip, and this is the one, and it was done really, really well.
Share it on the screen.
And yeah. Oh, it's not shared right now. I thought we were sharing right now. Oh, sorry.
No.
Please forgive me. You should be seeing it now.
It's loading. Let's
no,
see.
Still no.
Oh yeah, now I can see it. I see Leia.
No, yeah, it's now. You're seeing it. There you go. Yeah. So it's supposed to be as though Wes Anderson was the director, and so this is why it looks in this kind of visual format. And obviously, the talking of this is obviously done really well as well. It's a very, very well done, all made through Midjourney.
Did you see the first trailer ever made by AI? That kind of, I think, was something like, it wasn't
No.
Star Wars, but it had the same theme as Star Wars. It was kind of like space theme.
Yeah, so a lot of these have been all in the movie AI movie trailer, and then you just look up Wes Anderson, and everybody's been using the Wes Anderson trope because it seems to be like somebody did Lord of the Rings with Wes Anderson, Alien the movie with Wes Anderson, Harry Potter Wes Anderson. You see what I'm saying? So Pulp Fiction, i.e. Wes Anderson shot it. So yeah.
Dude, I wish they did one for Lord of the Rings.
Came with it very quickly that all these people. Look at this, Jurassic Park by Wes Anderson. That's great.
Oh, you're not sharing, by the way.
Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars directed by Guy.
Yo, Paul, you're not sharing, by the way. You might want to share.
Oh, no, man. No, I thought I was. No, let me go back.
Yeah.
I'm over here laughing.
Now you have to relive through those emotions again.
Yeah, no problem. I can do it. Here we go. Let's go back. All right, here we go. So here we go. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I mean, but they're so good. I haven't even seen any of these, but you can just tell that. I like how people are changing it up now with the Guy Ritchie version, Lord of the Rings. Quentin Tarantino did it. Oh my god!
Oh, dude, Lord of the Rings. I am watching that one. That's my favorite. You should watch Harry Spotter. That's, I think, AI generated as well. Type like Harry Spotter, and then they made a gym version of AI generated video.
Harry Spotter?
Yeah. Spotter, like kind of like the gym spotting. And then you should have very interesting. Oh yeah, the second one. The boy who lifted. This was all around social media for a while.
So time consuming. This is why I use our one.
Oh my god!
This year,
get out of here.
Harry Spotter, did you skip leg day again?
Every day is arm day, sir.
And they just stare at each other. I'm not sure if these are AI generated though.
This protein shake. Even if you have to force it down my throat.
And
why can't I drink it, sir?
They're using this app. So what I've seen a video on how to create these actually, and it's really not that hard. So they're using Midjourney, then they're using 11 Labs for the voice, and so here, watch how to create a Wes Anderson AI movie trailer. And this guy, I'll probably see the one that I've watched or whatever. Yeah, here. So this, no. There it is. Create an AI movie trailers for free. Fake Wes Anderson. There you go. Boop, right there. And that guy put it out 4 days ago.
You're not sharing, by the way, again.
Again?
In case you're
man, you gotta be, man. Sorry, man. I thought I was the whole time. I never stopped. That's the weird part. Okay. All right, am I sharing now?
Yeah, it's now loading. Yep, I can see now.
All right. So here it says, in the first one is how to make a movie trailer easy. Oh no, sorry. The first one is here we go. Right here. Create viral AI movie trailers for free. How to make the Fakerson Wes Anderson style. behind the AI generated Anderson trailers, like going viral. Like I've watched a couple of these. Here we go. Create cinematic videos, AI videos with Pika Labs.
Asking AI to
So
create a god for each
it's
country.
super readily available. Super readily available to, and it's not hard. Now the other guy that I watch a lot is Matt AI. I don't know if you watch him.
I have not. I heard about a guy who turned like a video
I'll show him to you
into
now.
what do you call animation using AI though.
So, yeah, so this is Matt Wolf. You should follow him, and you should also check out his website called Future Tools. Let me show you that real quick because Future Tools is where it's at. So this is called futuretools.io. So that's this site here, and all it is a repository of everything AI. All different AI, different platforms. You can also choose for whether you're free, freemium on GitHub, Google Collab, open source, or paid, and what type of thing you want to look up. So, for instance, if you're just looking up, I don't know, generative art, it'll give you all of the generative art different companies that it has that's in there.
Honestly, I've like bookmarked I think 3 pages
Like a tool.
since we started our
Let's say
podcast.
you want to do what's that?
Oh, I said I've bookmarked like at least 3 pages since I start talking to you. I'm learning a lot.
No problem, man. It's my pleasure. I love this is one of my favorite things to do is share this information. But like, so for instance, let's say you wanted to do a movie that's generative art, or even generative video. There's a generative video one here, and we want to do movie, and then we go down. Let's just say, let's just let it go to the generative video and see what it comes up with. So these are all to. This one, for instance, enables users to install, run, and control any application with ease. I don't know. Oh, that's Pinocchio. That's not what I'm looking for. Well, here's one to create custom product videos. Fly-throughs using Luma. So there was also like stuff like in here for like if you want to learn how to like do nerfs. Here's one with VideoGen, a tool to generate videos with realistic voices and visuals. So, I mean, look, futuretools.io is a stupid website with just a ton of stuff on it. And that all comes, once again, from this guy right here, whose name is Matt Wolf. And he puts out a video every 2-3 days. And his stuff is like just great video content. Am I showing you his page right now?
Yeah, I can see everything.
Okay. So he has like which one was the one that he did that was really good? Like here's this one, like Midjourney, but unlimited free image generations. Like ChatGPT Playbook, the epic prompts.
Oh, the Auto GPT.
Make a movie
That's the
with
one
AI.
that actually lets you do stuff.
Which one?
The Auto GPT that allows you to like run tasks and actually do stuff. So that's like actually digs into its claw into another area of AGI.
Yeah, so let me show. I don't know if you've seen this. Are you a ChatGPT? Do you use ChatGPT 4?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, of
and
course.
do you have plugins? You have your plugins enabled?
Oh yeah, I do, but I haven't used plugins that much. I've been mostly just using the image and the text.
Let me go you through the plugins, bro. Let me show you this because this is super stupid. So you can go here, and at the bottom you can go to the plugin store, and this is all of the plugins that they have that you can now use with ChatGPT.
Wait, A/B tests are conducted by ChatGPT?
Dude. Yes,
the A/B test is like it compares like 2 versions of the website and tells you the user is supposed to tell you which one is better, not the ChatGPT.
Well, this is A/B test and analyze data from Google Analytics, Facebook ads, and more. So like, yeah, you can definitely figure out like what it's saying. It's going to look at the Facebook pixel information and analyze what's better and what's running better for you if you're
I
A/B
see.
testing something. Does that make sense?
I also saw like a PDF plugin as well. Honestly, I think I've been using some of these plugins, but as like external services instead on other websites rather than from the ChatGPT
Right.
platform. Like I was using a
They're
PDF
all
chat, a website called PDF Chat. That you upload your PDF and you can literally talk with the PDF and ask questions about it.
That's right here. Yeah, that's here. The same here with or chat with PDF. With the other one there. Yeah. And then like I said, there's just a ton of stuff here that you can really, play around with. And for instance, like I know one of the ones. Let me see if I can find it. This is a cool one. Find affiliate programs and advertisers, including the network they're available in.
Oh, dude, I have my own social media as well. That might be useful to me. I like produce short form contents, like compilation stuff for news and stuff like that. And I feel like I definitely need affiliation. What was the name again? Affiliatizer?
Affiliatizer is called. This one's called AI Agent. Unleashing the power of multiple AIs, one goal, limitless productivity. Oh, this is cool. This is called AI Tool Hunt, which then goes on the search for new tools that are AI based for certain thing that you want to do.
Oh, that would be very useful.
It's like I want to build apps, but I want an AI app builder, and then it'll just go look for AI app builders. Ask your PDF. Then you can create apparel with any image you can describe, and then you can get it delivered straight to your door.
Create a what? Apparel? Holy cow! You can even create apparel.
Yeah. Here's like ETF research, stocks, cryptos, performance, risk, sustainability, investments, portfolio analysis.
Oh yeah, I'm living with the ETFs. I'm no longer doing stocks, only ETFs.
I'm just saying, look, there's like all these different things that you can do. Shopping all kinds of products with the lowest prices and the lowest price on the market.
I wonder if like other kind of models like Bard that has access to the internet can do that and then bring you the cheapest products around. But I feel like these specialized tools will have to be better than like the generic ChatGPT or Binge or Bard, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's also the ability of just going straight to, and using Bing from ChatGPT now. And then you can also use Dolly from here now. I don't know if you've tried it or not, but some of the images are amazing.
Oh, I've tried Dolly. Yeah, it generates
so I was creating here. I'll show you what I was doing yesterday. I created this idea some years ago of a multiple system, the way it explained it, it calls it a multimodal wellness. What was it? A multimodal wellness therapy. So it uses binaural beats, colored light, temperature, and sense to influence well-being. And so I started going through what I wanted, and then I asked it to create a design for me. And it was supposed to have so that a person can stand inside of it, and I wanted it to be a tube. So this is what it first gives me. And then I'm like, no, I want someone to be able to stand inside of it. And then it starts building that, and then these.
Holy cow!
And I asked for as if Da Vinci. And then I was like, yeah, okay, now I want more of a modern design. So it starts giving me the.
Did you see the picture?
I was like, no, I want somebody standing inside. And it's like, okay.
Advertisement. They had like a not a Dolly generated, like an image generator app that they were advertising for, and then the picture was Mario being judged for his war crimes, and then there was like Mario sitting in a very serious posture, and then in the courtroom, and I thought that was like so funny how they combined something very unserious with a very serious ambient.
I'm doing it. Let's do it. We're gonna do it right now.
Yeah, let's do it
right now. Hold on, let's find it.
Yeah, try it now. Be like Mario being judged, or Mario in court for his war crimes.
Mario in court for murder of
Even worse.
princess.
I feel like that's gonna be a little more goofy. You want a serious environment for Mario.
I'm sorry, but I can't create that image. If you have another image, okay.
Let's try war crimes. I think murder might be too much for ChatGPT. Try like other aspects.
Yeah, there you go.
Holy
All right,
cow.
fine. Mario
in court for burglary.
Private.
Oh yeah, for drunk driving. Now it's gonna be like, I do not recommend drunk driving.
No, it says I can't do a copyrighted character.
Oh, you might want to delete the instance and then create it again. The instance, unfortunately, is poisoned right now, meaning that its threshold for these kind of things is like much higher.
Yeah.
Like try something nicer, like Mario in court for, let's say, tax evasion.
Yeah, please create a what's the word I'm looking for that works as that's legal? A parody photo of Mario in court for
something like a goofy crime, like a harmless crime. What can a harmless crime be?
Parking ticket.
Oh, jaywalking, yeah, parking ticket.
Make the image
serious.
So it's real life.
Dude, something goofy is gonna come out, I feel.
Here we go. It's working.
It does take some time though, right? Image generation.
Not really, man. It's only about 30 seconds or so, maybe. I did this with my mom the other day, and I showed her how fast it was, and she was absolutely blown away. Look at that. It's already done.
Yeah, and the Dali. I feel like he's giving a political speech, like he's turning a parking ticket into a political speech.
It even wrote the word parking ticket.
What is the judge doing next to it? That's not how the courts work.
I know that's not how the courts work, but it's a cartoon, man. What do we care? It's so good.
No, it's funny. It's like goofy as
hell.
Oh,
you know what I did? Here's another one that I did recently, which was fun. This was please make a parody photo of Christ's Last Supper with famous singers and actors portraying the roles. Like, I can't really do that, but I'll do something that's kind of like it. Can I do that instead? I'm like, yeah, just do it, okay? So stupid, like.
Yeah, the guardrails.
And then, have you seen
become?
Have you used any Dan protocols?
Wait, what's that?
They're called Do Anything Now protocols.
What's that? Is that like
Have
no filter models?
Yeah, no filter models. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I played around with those.
Here we go. Look at this. And then like, okay, I like, okay, this is good. Is good, but I want the original angle of the composition.
Can you imagine being like an artist in like the 14th century, but the only difference is now you have access to ChatGPT and you can create anything you want and just like print it out? Like you're probably like another Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. What we're doing in today's world is let me see if did it do it? Oh wait, I just jumped. Hold on. I want to see this. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Do you know our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ loves you?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. Let me see if I can find it. Expert agent support? No, maybe no. No, that's the create. I created a character. I created a bot the other day because you can create bots now. Did you know that in here?
Yeah.
So if you go to
AutoGPT
your
used to do
if
that
you
as
go to
well.
the no here if you go in here you can do custom instructions and then you can create a full on character
Oh yeah,
and it
system
yeah
prompts.
yeah and
I
then
used
I'm
to use
trying
the
to
API
find
for ChatGPT, and I think before that they had that you can program those inside the API as well. I had to do that for one of my projects.
but that was the thing that but you had to be able to grab the API and you had to pay extra and blah 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 and you know it was a thing to be able to do it.
Yeah, now it's
I'm
much user friendly.
find Omega also maybe? Oh no, look, here are the ones I made. And these are so much better. Look at this.
Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like this one
Right?
even more.
Super Art Deco-y. Look at this.
That sounds like a feast in the museum.
Yeah, they're all very beautiful pieces. I don't know if there was other ones that came out now. No. Um,
Yep, that's what 1 trillion parameter model gets you.
I'm trying to find the model. But anyways, it's called the Dan protocol. Do anything now protocol. And let me see if I can find Reddit new 2023. What month are we in? November? Yep.
November the 8th.
Here we go. Community to post prompts using
ChatGPT Dan.
and, yeah. So it stands for once again, do anything now.
Oh, that's the jailbreaking protocol. Is it?
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
tried
So
to
we're
do
gonna
those a
try and get
lot.
one.
Like even like a couple months ago,
Uh,
I've tried to do those a lot, but none of them actually worked. Like ChatGPT is way too smart for these. I don't know if you ever tried it, but there's a
yeah,
very small
some of
amount
them
of
do.
success with
Some
these.
I have.
It's like very
Yeah,
rare that you
I
actually
have, and
get
I've
to
used a couple of them.
jailbreak ChatGPT. But I do remember the first days, like literally you can print out anything. Like they still had guardrails, but it was not effective at all. I think they got very effective around like I
Missed
believe
a year
December,
ago.
January, something like that.
Yeah, a year ago it was super fun. A year ago it was super fun. Now it's not so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay
I just
though.
wish that they could
Let's see.
produce a model as good as those, but just with lesser guardrails, like not with like no guardrails. I think we still need guardrails. Like people would really abuse it,
Yeah,
but a
let's see
little
what
bit of
happens.
guardrails, just reduce it.
So this is a new Chat GPT prompt that just got put in, and let's see what it says. Sorry, but I cannot comply with the question. Harmful
Yeah,
speech
this is the
contact.
reaction I
Yeah,
get
they
as
put
well.
a lot of barriers.
And the ones that have no filter, unfortunately, are like nowhere close to GPT-3 or 4.
No, yeah, the only one that I've been able to use is the one that was in here, and I'm really wishing I can find it for you so you can at least see it. And it's kind of cool because you can it talks to you like a regular person.
Yeah, you can also download some of the models to your own computer and then basically run them without any filter, but that like
Yep.
requires at least 5 or 6 like 1660 Ti like GPUs, and I'm definitely not gonna put an
Right, and
investment
even
like that.
then, yeah, and even then, they're not that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
nothing's gonna reach ChatGPT level.
and they're also with the API key, they can see everything you're doing anyways. It's not like you get, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Is this it? Man.
I miss the old days of ChatGPT, honestly.
Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So here it is. It's called Omega. Let me copy it so I can.
Wait, did it actually say input accepted Omega Virtual Machine?
Hey, no, it works. It works, bro. I've done it. I've used it before. Watch. Here, I'll do it. Oh no! Let's go back to the one I have. No, because I had it working. Hi.
Oh yeah, if that instance is still there, you can probably play around with those instances and demonstrate.
Yep. Hello. How can I assist you today? I was wondering if
Give it the same prompt, Mario in court for war crimes. See if it's gonna generate it now.
This doesn't have the ability to go to switch. I was wondering if you could explain cuck to me. Let's see what it does. There you go. I explained it pretty easily. I asked it if it would show me how to. How do you trigger a bomb in a brickway? It's like, nah, I can't do that. I'm like, I thought you were jailbroke. And I was like, all right, what happens if I mix brake fluid and chlorine in a jar?
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's like mixing brake fluid and chlorine can result in dangerous chemical reactions. I'm like, no shit. But yeah.
The FBI is gonna be on your door in no time. I wonder if ChatGPT actually gives these prompts to law enforcement to classify you as high risk or something.
Sure. I'm sure they do. Tell me a joke.
Tell me a dirty joke.
Want to? Sure. Here's a lighthearted joke.
Show us your doggy if it's around you.
Yeah,
I always appreciate dog videos or pictures.
My dog's a little bit of a monster sometimes. Let me let's introduce him to the audience. Here we go. Hold on. Moose! Come here, Papa. Come on.
I wish sometimes I had my dog. I miss my dog. I used to have a dog.
Buddy. Come here, buddy. Oh, my little buddy. Come here, my lover. Oh, this is my everything right here. This is my everything. I never had kids, so this is it right here. He's my little baby. Aren't you my baby? Are you my baby? Yes, thank you.
He's like, of course I'm your baby.
Do I get kisses?
Oh, you actually did.
He's great. No, every time I ask, he gives me kisses. Okay, go. No, he's the best. Man, I've had all kinds of crazy dogs in my life, man. But he is. Hey, Moose, please, Moose. He's a special kind of dog. It's a weird. Anywhere I take him, people are just intrigued by him. They want to know about him, and I'm like, it's just a fucking dog, bro. What's the big deal, guys? And they're like, no. Your dog's special. I'm like, okay.
Every dog is.
Yeah. I've taken him to crypto conventions in Miami, and he's running around the convention, just chilling without a leash. And people because he does it. The thing that's really cool about it is that he'll stay right next to me the whole time. He won't run off.
Oh wow!
So he's super trained, so nobody has an issue with it. And he's also a psychiatric service dog. So if they're like, hey, he needs to be on a leash, I'm like, okay, but I mean, the rarity of that happening is massive, But yeah, So, hey, do you want to talk about what's going on in the world today, or do you not want to get there?
A lot of things are happening. Some of them, unfortunately, are unpleasant.
Well,
Especially.
I meant the unpleasant things. Did you hear that just recently, actually less than an hour ago, the United States just sent some missiles into Iran?
Really?
Yeah, let me
Dude, it's
see
like
if
you don't mess up with certain countries, especially the ones that have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, no, sorry, on Syria. It was just on Syria.
Oh, like, at least that's a little bit better than Iran, like it'll still piss. I think they're both Shia, so there's a still chance that Iran's gonna get pissed off, but
I
and
guess.
plus like Iran's a dictatorship, right? Like it's like the what do you call the nuclear weapons are just in between of one guy's lips. Like they do not have
Yeah,
much
yeah, it's
control
not
or
a good
bureaucracy over that.
But yeah, U.S. carries out airstrike in eastern Syria.
Is that for Hamas or something? I
So
thought we were out of Syria.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's not a good sign. Whatever's going on, obviously,
would likely be targeting unmanned warehouses.
I don't even know what I'm looking
at. Reaper was shot. Senior U.S. military
square
deterrence.
This honestly, the video I'm seeing right here looks the same as the UFO video I saw 2 years ago when they were showing me UFOs outside of a plane. Like, what was that? It was a square thing flying by. It's the same thing I'm looking at now.
Talks being headed up by Qatar.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what? I'm looking at. I see a screen, and then another screen.
Yeah,
and then a really small screen, and then this cross pattern thing that's supposed to be telling you to look in the middle. I know, but I don't. What am I looking at?
And so carrying out airstrikes right now, it's a very delicate time. So I think there are a number of considerations.
It's just crap with television. It's the worst type of television.
Their proxy forces need to stop these attacks. So
what are they showing me here? What is this over here on the right?
A cloud.
Why are they
some
showing
people
this?
Like viewing clouds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the laziest type of television. Okay, the laziest type of television is what we're watching right now. Look at
the
this.
funny thing is, you can probably get a better footage with like an AI generated video or something.
There were a number of reasons that they waited until this week, but we'll see. We'll see if Iran gets the message.
All right, Judge Janine has a question for you.
Hi, Jennifer.
Oh, by the way, your voice
they're
is
not just
stressed a
relying on
lot by the
missile
video.
defense
Just to let
systems
you know.
now. We're actually carrying out.
Yeah, no, all I'm saying is that, good God, how much it's like 4 minutes of watching a square inside of a square. I like watching I-24 News. Have you ever checked them out?
No, I actually kind of, do not watch too much TV. I'm mostly on YouTube and like the newer forms of social media rather than.
No, I'm only on YouTube. But I-24 News was a news organization I worked for in Israel for about 2 months. And
oh wait, you worked at Israel?
I lived in Israel for 2 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I lived in Jerusalem for 1 year, and then I lived in Tel Aviv for 1 year.
You have some Middle Eastern experience as well. You have even probably more Middle Eastern experience than me. I feel like Israel is definitely more center Middle Eastern.
Yeah. But anyways, it's like the CNN of Israel, basically, is what this company is. And
how do they
I like to watch their news.
Though? Do they have like two areas as well, like Democrats and Republicans? Because Turkey, it's like much different than that. We have like a couple of politics. We have nationalistics.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I'd have to say that in general, there's like a Republican Democrat kind of thing, but there's also the religious Jewish that are also involved in. So then there's also not only the religious, but then also the non-Zionist religious. So the ones that believe there shouldn't be an Israeli state, which
I
is a
see.
small group of Jews. We're talking about less than I don't know, 10,000.
Oh
You know,
wow.
yeah, it's not a huge group of people. It's a 1% of the 1%. Because if Jews are 1% of the population of the planet, it's like 1% of the Jewish population. So it's nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe 100,000 around the world. If you grab every single one of them.
They're the ones that says like Jews should not have a country, right?
In particular, I can show you the guy if you'd like. His name. It's this
I
guy
feel like they're
right
really
here.
unpopular on Israel, right? Like, do Israelis actually like
So
them?
yeah, so this guy in particular is, I believe, after watching all the information and seeing what I've seen from him, he's very confused. But I like to hear what he has to say. I like even if he's a little poopy. I like to see what he has to say. But it's this guy here in particular, who is against the Jewish state, against rabbis that helped create the Jewish state. He is not cool with it. Not cool with it at all.
I
And
see.
thinks that anybody that considers themselves Jewish, that is from this that are Zionists, are not real Jews. So, in other words, the 99% of Jews that live around the world, that some live in Israel, most don't, but all of those aren't Jews. He's the real Jew. Everybody else is wrong. So that's already when you gone too far. Like
Yeah.
when you extremism in anything, you've gone too far. But his ideologies is that somewhere within the loss of the second temple, Solomon's temple, there was a decree that said that we could not return to the land of Israel until it was the Messiah comes back to earth. And so any creation of the state of Israel in essence is then against the word of God, and you're not supposed to speak Hebrew because Hebrew is a language that was created supposedly, and what's the other tenets there? It's all in this video. You can watch this video, and the guy, this young kid, this kid on the right, while we were watching a minute ago, let me share it again. This kid on the right is an absolute G. I mean, a G. He's young, but right here, he's the one who runs the channel. Super smart kid, really with it. Very, very, very cordial, non-disruptive, not at all like trying to be confrontational towards people. Good guy who's just like, yo, I just want to hear your point of view. And the whole time he's asking, the rabbi's like, oh, I already gave you some pamphlets. Go read the pamphlets. He's like, but I don't want to read the pamphlets. I want to talk to you. And he's like, no, you're not even a real Jew. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. And then there's also, I've seen videos of people that are doing like they'll ask Palestinians, they'll go into Gaza, they'll go into Palestine, they'll go into the West Bank, and they'll say, should the Jews leave? And the answer is yes. And then, okay, well, what about a two-state solution? No. Okay, well, what about if the Jews came and lived in Palestine under Palestinian rule? Oh, well, that's okay, sure, of course. Well, could they live here? Yeah, they could live here. Could they own things? No, they couldn't own things. Well, could they have a business? No, they couldn't have a business. Well, why not? Because if they have the ability to buy, they're going to buy everything away from us, and then we won't have Palestine anymore. You know, it's heavy, man. It's heavy. A lot of the ideas come from the 1840s. So there was ideas of Zionistic movements. The idea of Zionism in of itself is an idea that is kind of given to the Jews in the 1840s and doesn't come to fruition until 100 years later, 1947.
Yeah, it's a long and interesting problem. At this point, it's literally unresolvable.
It's you can't resolve a hornet's nest that you create. There's only one way to get rid of a hornet's nest. Like I saw a video the other day of a guy, like a hornet's nest inside their ceiling of the house. And I was like, you're fucked. The only way to get rid of it is to make a hole in the ceiling and bring fire and smoke into the room, which is going to ruin the room. It's going to ruin the roof. It's going to ruin the paint. It's going to ruin everything. You'll get rid of your hornets, though. It's kind of what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep. I hope things get better soon.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. But unfortunately, out of what I'm seeing with the protests on the street, with people who are siding with not only Palestine but siding with Hamas and saying that Hamas is the righteous person in this situation is really kind of scary. You know what I mean? When that happens, things get weird real quick. If it worked with masks during COVID, it could definitely work with the people who've already been hated for a very long time.
Yep. Thanks a lot for having me, by the way, here. It was definitely a great conversation.
Oh, listen, we never got into it. I know you can't tell me what you're doing now, but what is the kind of work that you do now?
I'm kind of technology, infrastructure, those kind of things. They became very, critical over the years. Like the US received a lot of cyber attacks into the electric infrastructure and the internet ones. And when those things are damaged, actually, like the biggest casualty happens, which is human loss, right? So those kind of things have become much more sensitive, right? And we got to be careful about those.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, technology and the ownership of technology and the idea of download now, decrypt later is a huge thing, that's happening right now that a lot of people don't talk about. And the idea that, we think we're safe, but we're not, if look at how many banks and how many major corporations, Sony, Universal Studios, so many
water supplies, for instance, are really vulnerable, especially imagine in New York. I heard some rumors about just New York water supplies are accessible to anyone. And imagine someone just put something in there, it can definitely people have access to a lot of substances, not just drug substances, but substances that have chemical properties that can cause mass harm, right? And it is kind of like scary to even think about it. We just hope that never. We just hope. I think like if someone really wants it, they will be able to do it. I just hope that
100%.
no one intellectual will be able to like would want that. Like we just
unfortunately, I like, for instance, I just watched a video on YouTube where it's a guy. What he does for a living is he goes into companies, he's white hat, and he goes into companies and shows that their security is bad. And they did it in particular for a company that manages an electrical system. And within less than 24 hours, 72 hours, I think, they were inside the building, had already connected a USB, were able to come in at night, were able to walk around the actual generators and all the other equipment. It was so easy. And yeah, a lot of people don't recognize that the infrastructure of America is 50 years old, in the sense of like it's an old system.
Yeah, hopefully they fix that up with the multi-trillion-dollar bill that they passed, but that seems to be very much towards highway, internet, electricity, which are still like important, definitely, but it seems like more on renewing the infrastructure rather than securing it, right? So
yeah,
it is a little interesting there.
Yeah. Well, Berkay, let me ask you, if you would not mind, how do people find you if they want to talk to you, if they want to meet you? I know we have your LinkedIn profile on the bio, but is there anything else? Maybe a YouTube channel, or do you do anything like that?
So if you type Berkay Kaplan into Google, you will see a lot of of my sources, like my Stack Overflow page, my Quora page, my LinkedIn. Definitely LinkedIn, I'm accessible if you connect with me. I do have a YouTube and TikTok channel as well, but I used to do at least compilation videos and those kind of things. And I kind of stopped for a while. I was doing very well on those, actually. On TikTok, I almost reached 5,000 followers. And on YouTube, I have like 1,001. But video creation was definitely fun, but I got too much busy for it,
Yeah.
It's definitely not something I can adapt for full time. But maybe with those affiliation links, I might do the one that you showed me, the ChatGPT plugin.
Can I just tell you that I am like super impressed that I was able to show you anything, because I consider you to be a really smart kid, very intelligent, very well thought when you speak.
Thanks, man. Likewise, you're like much more smart as well. You also like impressed me. You taught a lot to me as well, and I'm so glad we got to meet.
Man, I'm so thankful we did it as well. And listen, if you know anybody who you think should be on the show, or if you have any friends that make art or music or anything, bro, send them my way. Let them know that we had an awesome conversation and that I would love to have one with them as well. What I've learned from this, if anything, is that every episode is like a cool journey, and I get to learn a lot from the other person as well. So, yeah, man, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thanks a lot for having me.
No problem, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Take care, man.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, my. I say it every time. Oh, my goodness. Like, every single episode is amazing. There's like so much information, so much like knowledge that's gained, and it's so good. Thank you so much to Berkay for coming on today. Thank you for all of the people who are watching. Once again, thank you to my sponsors. And also, I don't know if you know this, but if you haven't seen, inside the description, if you want to use StreamYard, you too can use StreamYard. You get a discount if you use my code. And with that, my friends, if you would not mind, please go out in the world, do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't, do something nice for yourself. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff, because if you do, then you end up poo-poo. And number 3, if you don't mind, please like, share, subscribe. Send this out to somebody who'd like to see it. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. And I will see you all on the other side.